We be live. Hello, everyone. Let me know in the live chat that my audio is okay so that we could get started with no problems. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And thank you so much for Dolly for reminding everybody to like the stream. Guys, make sure you like the stream. If you like the stream at the beginning of the stream, more people end up showing up here because YouTube will be like, oh my God, this is a very active stream. Let me go grab some people to come here. So please, right now, like the stream. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Even after the stream is over, if you're watching this after, like the stream so more people end up watching it. Leave a comment after the show is over. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, all of that stuff. Okay, so make sure you do that. Thank you, Dolly. Let me unhand like this. My audio is good. Yeah, thank you, guys. People are saying audio is clear, audio is good. So let's just get started. I want to start heavy. Dolly, you're gonna be surprised. I have 3 videos that Dolly sent me, but 2 videos that Dolly hasn't seen, and I'm gonna start with those first, okay? And I'm gonna give them a name so Dolly knows how to cut them or something. This one is a Muslim man who is talking about the LGBT support that Palestine is getting. So let's go with the first one, just so that we clarify a few things before we get started. So let's start with this. This is pretty heavy. Oh, by the way, I got this from, I just want to give credit where credit is due. I got this from Harris Sultan. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him and everything. I got this from his Twitter, right? But this is amazing. And I need to make something clear for YouTube. Dear YouTube, I do not agree with this man. This guy his views are not mine. I'm just putting it here just so that we could review it with my audience. Guys, make sure you, in the live chat, you give me your opinions as well. Dolly is highlighting your comments so that your comments and your opinions are part of this show as well. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, Reincarnation Entertainment, thank you so much for the £2 super chat saying like, comment, and share, guys. Well, thank you so much using your super chat to actually telling people to like. That's very sweet. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Anyway, oh, D is here. Hi, D. Anyways, let's get started. I'm excited to start the stream. So let's see what this guy has to say. And I'm going to play it all the way through without pausing, and then we're going to respond to it.
Muslims, pay attention. You know the Palestinian suffering? It's been hijacked. Now hear me out. You know the Rainbow Group? Now go have a look. You see them waving flags. Gays for Gaza. Allah accepts gays. All this complete nonsense. No Muslim is calling this out. We don't support them and would never accept their actions. The degenerates, occupiers of Jahannam. And this is well understood in our religion. We don't need their solidarity. We don't need their support. So if you see them at a protest, tell them the FO. I personally much rather a Zionist bomb falling on my head, killing me, than having support and solidarity by a bunch of degenerates, occupiers of Jahannam. Now, Muslims, pay attention and call this out. It's a disease. You see it here in Australia with the Greens Party and the left, hijacking the suffering for their own political agenda. And you see it in America and everywhere. It's a disease.
Wow. Degenerate guys. If I was part of the LGBT community, I would make a t-shirt out of that. I would wear it with so much pride. Degenerate occupier of Jahannam. Can I? Oh my God, you should, guys, somebody make that a t-shirt. And if you're LGBT, just wear that. That's just such a oh God, this is great. This is degenerate. I've never heard anything more badass than this. Degenerate occupier of Jahannam. All right. So you want to occupy Palestine? Okay, that's bad. But you know what's worse? Being a degenerate occupier of Jahannam. Like, so he's actually Islamically, I don't even know how to criticize this man, because if you accept Islam, then everything he's saying is correct. Like, why, as a Muslim, I should be way more anti-LGBT than I am anti-Zionist, right? Because as a Muslim, what do I believe a Zionist is doing? A Zionist is taking my land. A Zionist is taking my body. A Zionist is taking my child's body, my husband's body, my wife's body, like anything. Like, if you are have that mindset, okay, which I don't do for people who are new here. But as a Muslim, what would the LGBT movement, what is the LGBT movement doing? Okay, they're not taking my land, they're not taking my body, they're not taking my house, they're taking my soul, they're taking my afterlife. They're taking, the Zionists is taking things from me that are temporary. The LGBT movement will be taking things from me, of me or my family or the people who are loved, that are eternal. What is more dangerous? What should I be more against? Anti-Zionist or anti-LGBT? I should be more anti-LGBT. Again, YouTube, not my views. I'm just reviewing what this man is saying and looking at it from an Islamic lens and finding no way to criticize it. If you have an Islamic mindset, he's completely correct. And that's the danger with Islam. The danger of Islam is not that he's wrong. The danger of Islam is that he's correct. These are the correct conclusions. Come at me. If you're a Muslim and you're against this, what this person is saying, tell me how he's wrong. Okay, so let me actually play this one more time and then go through it line by line. But again, I'm not going to get over how badass that sounds. If I was LGBT, I would like make that, I don't know, I would make a band out of it. I don't know what I would do. I would make a t-shirt or something. All right. Degenerate, I'm going to keep saying that. Degenerate occupiers of Jahannam. Right, but let's watch this again.
Muslims, pay attention. You know the Palestinian suffering? It's been hijacked. Now hear me out. You know the Rainbow Group? Now, go have a look. You see them waving flags, gays for Gaza, Allah accepts gays, all this complete nonsense. No Muslim is calling this out. We don't support them and would never accept their actions. The degenerates, occupiers of Jahannam.
Oh my God, that sounds so amazing. And
this is
oh God, I can't get over how badass that sounds. Oh God, I wish I was gay or bi or something.
Accept their actions. The degenerates, occupiers of Jahannam. And this is well understood in our religion. We don't need their solidarity. We don't need their support. So if you see them at a protest, tell them the FO. I personally much rather a Zionist bomb falling on my head, killing me, than having support and solidarity by a bunch of degenerates, occupiers of Jahannam.
See, this man knows his priorities. Guys, this makes logical sense. If Islam is true, this makes logical sense. What should you be, like, this life is nothing compared to the afterlife. Like, let's see, how long are you going to live? 80, 90, 100? Okay? What is 100 years compared to eternity? How could you even be bothered by what somebody is doing to you in this life? Let's say your child dies, okay? As a Palestinian, as a Muslim Palestinian, I'm like, oh, great. My child went to paradise. Okay, you killed my child. He didn't even get a chance to sin because he's ma'asum now. He's my child, my little boy that you killed. You just got him a fast entry ticket into the best place in all realms. Okay, so my little boy that just died went into the best place it could ever be. Okay, so why should I, as a Muslim, again, not my views, YouTube, I'm just showing how barbaric these views are. As a Muslim, why should I even be upset? I should be celebrating, right? So, but even if I was upset, this is 100 years max. Okay, let's ignore how technology is advancing and that could change pretty soon, right? 100 years, give or take, compared to infinity. All right, there's nothing in this planet, in this life, that should matter relative to that. Okay, even if you torture me, I don't care. This is just temporary. The next one is more important. So my land is lost. Who cares? Okay, the LGBT movement, they could misguide our youth, our population, and then they would have, if my child, in fact, I should be thanking the Zionists. Given how rapidly the LGBT movement is growing, my son could have been misguided by them. They could have been led astray. They could have been lost. They have gone from Sirat al-Mustaqim to Siratul Ghayr Mustaqim. Okay? They could go from Siratul Mustaqim to Siratul Ghayr Mustaqim by LGBT. So the Zionist saved my baby boy from the LGBT movement. Thank you, dear Zionists. Thank you. Okay? Because a greater evil might have been coming from my child, and my child could have been, now that my child is gone, he's in heaven now. But if the LGBT had come to him, he might have been cursed by eternal torture, right? So this, but listen again. Tell me how this doesn't make logical sense. If Islam is true, if the premises with these premises, shouldn't you be coming to that conclusion? Huh? That conclusion makes logical sense. Listen to this. Again, I'm not saying this is the correct conclusion because I don't believe in the premises. I don't believe the Islamic premises, so the conclusion is wrong. So with these premises, if you apply, solid logic, you will come to this logical conclusion. This is why Islam is so dangerous, not because the reasoning is incorrect, but because the premises are incorrect. This is why you can't reform Islam, because if you accept these premises, to reform Islam, you have to use flawed logic. The only way to fix Islam is to get rid of Islam, right? Because with these premises, anyone with in the right mind, with the proper logic, will come to the false conclusions. So the only solution is to get rid of the base, not to get rid of not to give them proper conclusions. Okay, because you can't do that. We can't do that. You have to get rid of the root. It's corrupted to the core. Okay, this whole thing is complete. It is the base is the problem. The fundamentals of Islam are the problem. Okay, you cannot change Islam to get proper conclusions out of it because the fundamentals are the issue. But anyways, listen to this again.
And this is well understood in our religion. We don't need their solidarity. We don't need their support. So if you see them at a protest, tell them the FO. I personally much rather a Zionist bomb falling on my head, killing me, than having support and solidarity by a bunch of degenerates.
Exactly, because the first one will take away your life. The second one, your temporary life. The first one, the bomb jumping on your head, will take away your temporary life. The second one, if you support a bunch of degenerates, as he says, will take away your eternal life. Would you rather lose your temporary life or lose your eternal life?
Occupiers of Jahannam. Now, Muslims, pay attention and call this out. It's a disease. You see it.
Hey, wait, how's my audio? Is my audio okay? Okay. Somebody says mute.
Here in Australia with the Greens Party and the left, hijacking the suffering for their own political agenda. And you see it in America and everywhere. It's a disease.
Okay. All right. So my audio is still good, right? I want to go to this. Yeah, it's clear. Thank you so much, Dolly. All right. Let's go to this next video. Again, Dolly, I don't know if she's seen this video, but the videos after these are the ones that Dolly has picked. But again, it's Pride Month, so I wanted to do something relevant to Israel, Palestine, Islam, and Pride all at the same time, right? This is amazing that we managed to cover all three in this stream. So this is amazing. I cannot, this was such a gift when I found it. Again, we're going to watch this all the way through, and then after that, we're going to respond to it. Okay, so prepare yourselves.
And so I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine.
Would you say you're pro-Palestine or pro-Israel?
Pro-Palestine.
As a gay man, I would be punished and or put in prison or killed if I were openly gay in Palestine. How do you react to that?
I didn't know that. So
it is illegal to be gay in Palestine. You are punished by prison or death.
Israel?
No, Israel has gay pride. Israel is completely open to lesbian and gay people. So Palestine puts them in prison or kills them. You weren't aware of that?
I was not aware of that, no. So that does pose an interesting aspect.
Have you seen the Queers for Palestine movement? It's a very common movement, but I don't see any Muslims for Queer movements.
Yes. That's where it gets gray, right? Like, that's where I feel
well,
like...
for me, it's not gray. I am fearful of Islam because there is no Islamic country on earth that embraces me as a gay man.
So, okay, so maybe I'm confused because Israel, which is still an Islam country, right?
No, Jewish.
Okay.
So Israel's Jewish, Palestinians are Islamic.
Okay.
Okay. So I okay, I know this looks bad, but I am going to turn this on its head. I'm going to actually be optimistic about this. This actually there's something I'm going to save this for you guys. Okay, so a lot of you might be laughing at this in the live chat, but actually this makes me hopeful. And tell me, before I tell you why this is good, tell me in the live chat, why would I think this is good? Okay, because you think this is embarrassing. How ignorant can somebody be? Okay, but there's something. I'm a glass half full kind of guy, right? I'm gonna try to save this for you guys, and I'm gonna be telling you why this is actually something that you should be pleasantly surprised instead of being sad. I know a lot of you are saying this is pretty sad, but this is actually very good. But so just like, wow. Okay, tell me why this is good. Tell me why this is good. But let's go from the beginning and listen to this again.
And so I did a study abroad in the Middle.
This is very interesting, okay, because a lot of you guys are laughing. How could she not know that Israel is not Islamic? Okay, it actually gets worse because she's saying, I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine. I don't know what it means with Israel and Palestine. Does she mean in Israel or Palestine? And Palestine? Or with Israel and Palestine? What does that mean? Because it would make sense if she said about or of or Israel and Palestine or in Israel and Palestine, but with Israel and Palestine, I don't know why would she say with? But anyway, she's been to the Middle East and she has done a study either in Israel and Palestine or about Israel and Palestine. It's not very clear. And she still doesn't know that Israel is not Islamic, or as she says, is Islam. Is Israel Islam? Oh God. Okay, but let's listen to it.
And so I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine.
Would you say you're pro-Palestine or pro-Israel?
Okay, so I know I'm very picky about this question, but I understand what it means. Okay, because it's safe to assume when somebody says I'm pro-Palestine, what they mean is they're anti-Israel and pro-Palestine. But I know that we're not significant enough at all to change this, but we're gonna try. Okay, pro-Palestine here on Atheist Republic doesn't mean anti-Israel. In fact, pro-Israel to us here, I know most other places you're either pro-Palestine or pro-Israel, but here on Atheist Republic, our standards are different. Okay, our standards here on Atheist Republic is that pro-Israel means that you're pro-Palestine. Okay, and pro-Palestine, to be pro-Palestine effectively, you need to be pro-Israel. Okay, so we're not anti-Palestine, we're anti-Hamas, and we're anti-Islam, and we want to save Palestine. We're pro-Palestine, and we want to save Palestine from Hamas and from Islamic ideology as much as possible. Not that it would be going away, but just make it reduced. I'm not going to get into the details of what I mean here, okay? But we're pro-Palestine here as well. And the best way to support Palestine is to support Israel, and especially Israel's attempt to get rid of Hamas ruling over Gaza. That's good not just for Israel, that's good for everybody, including Palestinians, right? So we don't pick between Israel and Palestine. We're anti-Hamas, partly because we're pro-Palestinian. We're pro-Palestine, right? So let's see. But again, I know in this context, they mean by pro-Palestine means anti-Israel.
Israel.
Pro-Palestine.
As a gay man, I would be punished.
Oh, wait, we got a super chat. I will read the super chat after the segment is over. So let me go back.
Would be punished and or put in prison or killed if I were openly...
Wait. I cut through half her sentence. So let's go here.
And or put in prison or killed if I were...
Am I not going back?
As a gay man, Palestine or pro-Israel?
Pro-Palestine.
As a gay man, I would be punished and or put in prison or killed if I were openly gay in Palestine. How do you react to that?
I didn't know that.
So here's the thing, you guys sometimes, and me also, make fun of people's ignorance, okay? But I am actually, I kind of like this woman, all right? She says, I didn't know that, okay? Ignorance is not as bad as you guys make it seem, it's not knowing something and acting like that's the problem, okay? The fact that she just immediately admitted ignorance, I actually celebrate that, okay? I mean, people are busy. People have their, I don't know how she managed to say this ignorant, even though she studied in the Middle East and studied Israel and Palestine. But okay, but normally people are just busy with their lives, okay? They're not like, they have children, they have work, they're busy. They're not activists. They can't just follow everything all the time. And when it comes to people who are ignorant, but admit that they right away that they're ignorant about something, I kind of like that, instead of like people who are ignorant and act like they know something, right? Act like they are informed, right? So the fact that she's ignorant and she admits it, and now she's asking questions so that she could clarify things and learn, that's good. So that's one point, to keep in mind. And that's one positive point. And let's go to the second positive point. Somebody saying, I thought Armin was LGBT. No, but I think if I could choose, I'm very, very straight. But if I could choose, I would choose bi, because that would mean twice the fun. But no, I'm unfortunately, I am a very, very painfully straight. But let's continue.
So
It is illegal to be gay in Palestine. You are punished by
is it
prison
the
or
same
death.
as Israel?
No, Israel has gay pride.
So she's like, isn't the same in Israel? And she's like, no, it's Israel has gay. I mean, to be fair, there are many anti-LGBT religious people in Israel, but Israel's laws and regulations are completely in support of, LGBT, and they have gay pride. Yeah, so that's all you need to know. They have gay pride. They're the only right now. I mean, I think at some point, one other country in the Middle East had gay pride, but they shut that down. I think it was Lebanon. Yeah, Lebanon had gay pride, but now Israel is the only country in the Middle East that has gay pride.
Israel is completely open to lesbian and gay people. Palestine puts them in prison or kills them. You weren't aware of that?
I was not aware of that, no. So that does pose an interesting aspect.
Have you seen the Queers for Palestine movement? It's a very common movement, but I don't see any Muslims for queer movements.
Yes. That's where it gets gray, right? Like, that's where I feel
well,
like...
for me, it's not gray. I am fearful of Islam because there is no Islamic country on earth that embraces me as a gay man.
So, okay, so maybe I'm confused, because Israel, which is still an Islam country, right?
No.
So an Islam country. I don't know. By Islam country, guys, is Israel an Islam country? Okay, I don't want to make fun of her. Okay. But okay, so I mean, so here's the thing. I know it's funny that she doesn't even know how to say it. It says Islam instead of Islamic. But look, she's curious. She's like, okay, I'm curious. I want to learn. Okay, we should celebrate that. That's good. That's great. Like, okay, she said, I'm curious. Israel. So she's asking questions. Okay, that we shouldn't be making fun of that. She's ignorant, yes, but she's trying to learn. So that's good.
Country, right?
No, Jewish.
Okay.
Okay, I have a problem with that as well. I try to focus on Israel's secularism rather than its Jewish identity, because it's Jewish in majority religion, and it's Jewish in majority ethnicity, and I think none of that matters. It's a secular, not as secular as US or Canada, not at all as secular as France, but it's secular-ish relative to other countries in the Middle East. And I don't like using highlighting the Jewish identity. I don't think that should be that could be the identity of individuals in Israel. I think it's very costly to Israel to have the Jewish identity for the entire country, right? Given that Israel is a secular country, I think more Israelis should embrace a secular identity for their country rather than a Jewish identity for their country, right? And a lot of people are worried that if Israel loses its Jewish identity, wouldn't that make it not a safe place for Jews around the world to come and see that, have that country as a place for them to be safe, given that level of hostility that exists against the Jews all around the world? And I think, like, and I know these are impossible dreams, almost impossible dreams. But again, I like to, fantasize about an Israel that has actually a constitution one day, that has that law that, this is part of the Israel's constitution, that Jewish people from around the world can come to Israel and get their citizenship and make this a safe place for all Jews around the world, so that the constitution has this law that is unchangeable. So even if Israel doesn't have to maintain a Jewish identity to be able to be a safe place for Jews around the world. So then Israel could stop calling itself a Jewish country, could call itself a secular country, but not be afraid of it not being a safe place for Jews around the world, because it has finally a constitution, and that is part of its law that is unchangeable, right? That is, again, I know I'm being so dreaming about things that will not happen, probably not happen, but hey, I like to dream. Let's continue with this.
So Israel's Jewish, Palestinians are Islamic.
Okay.
Islamic. Okay, so here's the second positive point. The second positive point I wanted to add, right? So the first positive point is that she's ignorant, but she's not claiming that she's not ignorant. She is aware of her ignorance and she's curious to learn. So that's the first positive point. The second positive point is that I'm hoping that this is a reflection of most anti-Israeli people, right? So that would make our job easier, right? Because imagine what would be the alternative? Imagine if people who are anti-Israel had a lot of information and they were anti-Israeli, okay? So that would mean that even with the information, they're still anti-Israeli. But if a lot of anti-Israeli people don't have some basic information, that means that with that basic information, their views could change, right? If people, that means that with providing people with some basic information, we could switch their opinions. So that's another optimistic point. This woman is not questioning her views. Like, okay, I'm pro-LGBT. Israel has pride. Palestine doesn't. Palestine has murder for LGBT instead of pride for LGBT. So maybe I should reevaluate my support. So that's great. That means that just like a few lines of information that somebody could double check could change their opinions. So again, two optimistic points. See how this is good? I turned something that you guys were sad about into something positive. That means that if this woman is reflective of a lot of other anti-Israeli people, that means that our job is a lot easier. Yes. Let me go through the super chats before we go to the other videos. Oh, thank you guys. We got a couple of super chats here. Nathaniel says most pro-Palestinians are Gen Z and Alpha kids who identify as queer, not so much the classical LGBT people that fought for civil rights and equality. So most pro-Palestinian. Yeah, but so I wouldn't say most of them are identified as queer. I would say so. Let me to be able to agree with your super chat, I'm gonna change the word most to a lot of, because a claim that starts with most requires statistics, because most means higher than 50%, and I don't know if we could show that. But if your claim starts with a lot of, That's a lot easier to believe than most. Okay, so let's change most to a lot of. A lot of pro-Palestinians are Gen Z and Alpha kids who identify as queer, not so much the classical LGBT people. Yeah, I mean the classical LGBT people are older, and older usually means wiser. Okay, so not all the time, but a lot of times. And yeah, and also they have the experience to fight for civil rights, and they know how important it is, and they know um, people that a lot of these Gen Z are supporting are standing against all the civil rights that they fought for. So they have a lot of them have a priority straight. I mean, it's not just it's basically people who are liberal versus people who are so-called progressives, right? So liberals, whether LGBT liberals or other liberals, they have their priorities, um, set more correctly than the people who call themselves progressives, because progressives are just like, you know, I mean, it's a function of experience, but it's also a function of wanting to be revolutionary, and the Gen Z population happens to just want to, has that. It's in our DNA to want to be more rebellious when we are younger. So it's also, I mean, we are criticizing Gen Z a lot, but it's also not their fault that their rebellious nature um, is needs to be satisfied in the time that things are the best. So the people that came before, Gen Z, the people who were fighting for civil rights, they were lucky enough that their rebellious desires was being satisfied, while there were things that were broken that needed to be fixed. So this Gen Z also needs to satisfy their rebellious desires, but the problem is that they're living in the best countries at a time that things are rapidly getting better. So they have this revolution fetish, but they want to break things that are not broken, that are working. They're trying to break things that is making our lives a lot better. So that's the problem. How could we redirect the rebellious revolutionary desires of younger people toward things that actually require breaking, rather than the infrastructure or the systems that are actually making our lives better? Because they need to destroy something, and we need to make them stop destroying things that are actually working. Okay. So thank you so much for the super chat. S Hope is saying, like the stream. Well, thank you. And thank you for the generous super chat. S Hope saying, like the stream, as a therapist here in the States, yes, most are ignorant, not bad. However, lack of accountability for their stupidity is becoming the norm, and that is problematic in my opinion. Yes, but if they are not pretending to not be ignorant, then we can fix that. All we have to do is find a way to reach them, and that will help. If you like the stream, that would help. That would help because, again, our channel is not as big, but I know there's a lot of people that come to me and they say that I change their opinions about many things, about Islam, um, about Israel, about liberalism. I change their opinions, 180 degrees. So if I know this is not as significant, but if you just like the stream, I do think that we will be able to reach those people who just need just a little bit of information to be able to change their opinions. So thank you, and also thank you for the super chats. That also helps me be able to spend more time on these streams. And also JS with the $5 super chat saying, Jewish people are a people, not a religion. It's not fair to say that it's bad for them to be Jewish. Can Iran be Persian? Can France be French? Okay, that's actually a very good point, because I don't agree with Iran being Persian. Iran is not Persian. Iran is only 50% Persian, just like Israel is only 80% Jewish. So let me see. Jewish people are people, not a religion. So Jewish refers to three different things. and actually now people are trying to make it 4. So they're using the same word. The word Jew refers to 3, or now people are trying to make it 4 different things. Jew or Jewish refers to a culture, refers to an ethnicity, and it does refer to a religion. Okay, and these are three different things, but they use the same word for it. And now some people are trying to make it so that it also refers to nationality, and I think that's dangerous. I think that 4th one should not be added at all. But yeah, to judge whether or not it's okay to be something, or if you support being something, you need to know which one of these are you referring to. So is it good to be Jewish when it comes, meaning that having religious Jewish views? Well, as an atheist, I don't think so. I think having any religious belief is wrong. Jewish ethnicity, is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's neither. It's something that you had no choice in. How could it be a bad thing or a good thing? It's kind of like asking whether or not it's good to have I don't know, brown hair, right? It's like, or I don't know. There's no value. There should not be any value judgment on being Jewish, Persian, Kurdish, Turkish. It's irrelevant. It's racist to say that it's a bad thing, but I also think it's bad to say it's a good thing. What's the value in being a certain ethnicity? There should not be any positive value associated with it. The positive value that I agree with is in the culture, right? So Jewish religion, a bad thing. Jewish ethnicity, neither good or bad. Jewish culture, definitely a good thing. Okay, all cultures. So culture means 2 things. Culture could refers to values and moral standards. I don't like that, okay, because when it comes to ancient cultures, I think that's negative. But culture could also refer to rituals, fashion, food, dance, art, calligraphy, all these other things, architecture. That, if culture referring to that's only enriches our lives, right? So Jewish culture, when it comes to Jewish traditions, Jewish stories, Jewish mythology, Jewish music, that is a positive. Okay, that's positive, just like any other form of culture that actually refers to art, rituals, dance, fashion. That's always positive. Again, not when I don't like culture when it comes to ancient cultures, when it comes to value judgments, or when it comes to morality. But when it comes to this other aspect of culture, it only enriches our lives. So that is a positive, right? And I'm not going to even get to what Jewish nationality means. That's obviously a negative to me, right? So when you say is being Jewish a positive or a negative, I have to ask you, what do you mean? Are you talking about the ethnicity, neither good or bad? Are you talking about the religion? As an atheist, I would say bad. Are you talking about the Jewish culture? That obviously good, obviously good thing, right? So, and you would say, can Iran be Persian? Iran should not be Iran. I'm not a hypocrite. Just like I think Israel should not have it's not good for Israel to have a Jewish identity. It's absolutely horrible for Iran to have a Persian identity. Iran is not Persian. You know how horrible it is for you to say Iran is Persian? Half of Iran is not Persian. What about Iranian Kurds? What about Iranian Turks? What about Iranian Arabs? What about Iranian Bakhtiaris? What about Iranian Lurs? What about Iranian Baluchis? Okay, what about them? What about the Gilakis? What about all these Iranians? They are not Persian. So in fact, part of my activism on the Persian side is not to give Iran a Persian identity. Okay, so Persian refers to an ethnicity, but it also refers to a culture. Persian culture, I value. Persian ethnicity, I don't value. It's neither positive or negative. Persian identity, that's horrible. We have to fight against the Persian identity in favor of an Iranian identity. Just like I think people in Israel should celebrate having an Israeli identity, not a Jewish identity. Using ethnicity as a way to mark your identity is very dangerous and harmful to your society. We should these are so backward and so ancient to celebrate ethnic identities. We have, the concept of a nation state. This is a modern, advanced form of identity, we should give up our religious and ethnic identities in favor of identities based on our nation state. This is a lot more modern and a lot more it has a lot more utility, and it's so much better for the progress of a society for you to highlight your Israeli identity over your Jewish identity, or your Iranian identity over your Persian identity, okay, and Turkish identity and Kurdish. They are useless. A Kurdish identity is useless. It's harmful. A Turkish identity is useless or is harmful. Focus on your nation state. That's the identity you need to be celebrating. With regards to France and French, there's a problem with it because the name of the country has been named after an ethnicity. So now it's even more confusing what you're talking about, right? So like Turkey, for example, it's easy for me to say, highlight your Iranian identity instead of your Persian identity, or Israeli identity instead of your Jewish identity. But with Turkey, for example, the country is named after an ethnicity. So I can't even, it's hard even to distinguish, like, oh, what should I say now? What is the name of your nation state's identity? Or French with France, or Danish with Denmark, or Scottish with Scotland. So this conversation becomes a lot more complicated when the name of the country is named after an ethnicity. And now when I want to mention that you need to celebrate the identity that is based on your nation state, the name of that is the name of an ethnicity. So it becomes more complicated when it comes to discussing that, or like British, yeah. So I don't know if that's clear for people. Let me go. So I took so much time talking about one super chat, but I think it was worth it. Angie is saying, thank you as always, and happy Pride to all. Thank you, Angie, for the super chat. And then Angry Keyboard Warrior with the $5 super chat saying, suggestions of videos to respond to. Zionists are crybabies by Thought Slime, and Palestinian ex-Muslim react to October 7th. Okay, I'm gonna screenshot this and have it saved so I could look at these videos, because last time somebody suggested some videos and I don't know where I wrote it. So if I screenshot it, I will be able to remember. By the way, guys, do you who disagrees with what I said? Like, do you guys agree or disagree with what I said? Especially for Israel and Iran, these are very important. Israel is 20% Arab, okay? And if you guys think that a one-state solution is the answer, then the Jewish identity is going to make it very difficult for you guys to get to a one-state solution, okay? But even a two-state solution, you have 20% Arab. A Jewish identity for Israel is very dangerous for that 20%. We celebrate Israel as a place where the 20% Arab that are Israeli citizens have all the same rights and freedoms as every other citizen of Israel. So calling Israel as a Jewish state is a threat to a secularism and liberalism. So I think, okay, not that we shouldn't be protecting Jewish people. Israel should still be a place where Jewish people could be able to go from all around the world and ask for refuge and citizenship. It should still be a safe place for all Jews around the world. It's needed for that, but I don't think you're required to have a Jewish identity to be able to remain that. Anyways, let's go to this next video. Okay, what is this? Oh, so let me actually read the. This is just a short video. Queer activists have their march blocked by pro-Palestine protesters. So just want to really quickly. So these are the pro-Palestinian people, and they're coming into the Pride March, and they're just blocking the road for the LGBT Pride to pass. And I actually support this. This is pretty good because I want more LGBT people to be anti-these anti-Israeli people. So what are they chanting? Somebody asked. I don't know. I think the first one is saying KKK. The first one I think is referring to the police department of that city, and it's saying that they're the same as the KKK. Yeah, something PPD, so the something police department, and I think that's the same. Refers to the city's police department, and KKK, and they're saying they're all the same. So this is the the LGBT march, and they're like trying to pass, and they've been blocked by them. Oh yeah, so it's a Philly police. Okay, so PPD referring to their police department. That was correct. So I bet you these LGBT people are wondering, like, why? I thought these people are not on our side. Like, why are we being blocked by them? Why are you guys blocking us? I thought you guys are the same as us. Yeah, so this is good. I'm happy. I want more anti-Israeli people to go and block roads and do stuff that make more people hate them. Keep doing that. That actually works in our favor. Let's go to this video, and let me read the description. Okay, so this is Dolly's title for this was anti-Israeli person criticizing a gay Zionist. Okay, let's just watch this all the way through and see how we can respond to it.
I'm gonna lose.
So this is a therapist, and the therapist, he's gay, and he's supporting Israel, and this is his video supporting Israel. And this man on the bottom right, he's anti-Israeli, and he's going to respond to him. So let's watch this.
I'm going to lose followers for saying this, but it's better than losing my integrity, so I don't care. I'm an openly gay American man, and I support Israel. Now, I know what some of you are going to say. Some of you are going to say, wow, a therapist who doesn't care about dying children?
No, we weren't going to say that. You know why? Because you didn't mention that you're a therapist. For whatever reason, it was more important for you to mention your sexual orientation, which let's see how that plays into your message.
What a psychopath.
Probably.
Here's what I have to say to all of you. You're being emotionally manipulated. Imagine that you and I are married, and every time you draw a boundary with me, I smother our kid with a pillow and say something like, look at what you're making me do. I would be emotionally manipulating you.
I really hope this guy knows that that's what Israel's doing since the beginning. We're sorry they made us kill their kids. We're sorry they made us bomb the hospital.
That is exactly what's happening in Gaza right now, and most people agree with that. Because
No, that is actually statistically and factually incorrect. Most people do not agree with that.
It's obvious. And if it's not obvious to you...
But it's not obvious to anyone. The only thing that's obvious is that the only thing that's emotionally manipulative is you. For some reason, I'm still yet to see the reason of you mentioning why you're an openly gay American man, but therapist was not a part of that introduction. For some reason, your sexual orientation was far more important and more necessary to mention than your profession.
You either have another agenda you're pushing, or you've been emotionally manipulated. If you're being emotionally manipulated, you should talk to somebody about that. Ideally, that person is not some woke terrorist apologist therapist.
But wait, Mr. Openly Gay American Man, you forgot to mention that this terrorist apologist woke therapist is also unfortunately straight. To even end your sentence by saying a terrorist apologist therapist, you are further adding to the gaslighting that if somebody's pro-Palestinian, that must mean they support terrorists. And not only does that comment come off as extremely racist and bigoted, but in my opinion, that's very unprofessional for a therapist. Still waiting as to why it was crucial for you to mention that you're openly gay, but I'm not hearing anything.
And if you want to see more content from a mental health professional who has the emotional skills to look at today's events with a little bit of clarity, you should toss me a follow.
But you don't see it with clarity, because you've proven to us that you're, first of all, extremely racist and very, very biased towards this, and you're insinuating that anybody who has a different opinion from you, such as a pro-Palestinian, is incapable of having the emotional ability or skills to navigate through this very complex world. Because if anything, you've just proven that you're someone who is racist and immensely biased and incapable of keeping his opinion to himself, which is very unprofessional as a therapist.
And if there's a little part of you that feels like they don't have the skills to cope with today's events, you're not alone. We got this.
Unfortunately, I can guarantee you if you follow this guy and you go to him for therapy, you are very alone. Simply because this therapist has breached the fact that he should not be taking a biased approach to anything and should listen to his patient with unbiased ears, or unbiased gay ears, because apparently that matters. So the only thing that this therapist has clarified for all of us is that in the case that he has a pro-Palestinian patient, he would be incapable of keeping an unbiased opinion, which is primarily the job of what a therapist is supposed to do. And I assume if a pro-Palestinian goes to him, he will shit on them. And I still don't understand why it was important or necessary to mention that you're an openly gay man. Unless, of course, it was like emotional manipulation.
Okay, well, I will explain that to you. But actually, I while he was talking, I went and checked something, and he's completely wrong. I knew he was wrong about this, but let me just make sure I have that ready for when the time comes to show. All right, so let's go through everything that was said line by line and respond to it.
I'm going to lose followers for saying this, but it's better than losing my integrity, so I don't care. I'm an openly gay American man, and I support Israel. Now, I know what some of you are going to say. Some of you are going to say, wow, a therapist who doesn't care about dying children?
No, we weren't going to say that. You know why? Because you didn't mention that you're a therapist.
Well, okay, this guy is, I don't know, so dumb. The reason why people would say that is because he posted this on his Instagram account, where people who follow him know that he's a therapist. That's why he didn't need to mention that. Look how stupid this is. This guy is apparently known for being a therapist, which I will share his Instagram account with you guys if you guys want to go support him and follow him, because this idiot, when he posted his TikTok, he didn't mention who this person is and how you could go follow him, but I'm going to do that. Oh, by the way, his account is real_HQ, but the therapist account is, the therapist's name is Joe, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Joe Nuki. But anyways, here's his Instagram account. If you guys want to go follow him, you can see that on the screen, right? So again, look how stupid he is. Listen to this.
I'm going to lose followers for saying this, but it's better than losing my integrity, so I don't care. I'm an openly gay American man, and I support Israel. Now, I know what some of you are going to say. Some of you are going to say, wow, a therapist who doesn't care about dying children?
No, we weren't going to say that. You know why? Because you didn't mention that you're a therapist.
He doesn't need to mention he's a therapist. People follow him on his Instagram account because he's a therapist. If you're seeing him, most of them know this about him. He's saying this to his followers. That's why he didn't need to mention it. You idiot. How could you be this dumb?
For whatever reason, it was more important for you to mention your sexual orientation, which let's see how that plays into your message.
What a psychopath.
Yeah, it's important to mention his sexual orientation because a lot of people think like, oh, gay people, because of a lot of these woke progressives in the LGBT movement, they're so loud about their anti-Israeli, focus and their anti-Israeli views that they're costing a lot of people within the LGBT movement a lot of hostility, because people think like because people do guilt by association. A lot of people are turning anti-LGBT because they associate LGBT now with the woke mob, and they think like, oh, all LGBT must be crazy now. So thank you, sir, for mentioning that you're openly gay. Thank you for mentioning that you're part of the LGBT group, so that you could help us reduce the demonization of people within the LGBT movement, because a lot of the wokes are costing people within the LGBT movement a lot of what they have achieved in the past couple of years. Hatred amongst LGBT is growing because of the crazy positions that the woke mob is taking. So this is why it was so important for him to come and say, I support Israel and I'm openly gay, to stop to fight back against all of this hatred for all of these, for other gay people. So thank you for that, sir, for mentioning that you're openly gay. This helps fight back against that.
Important for you to mention your sexual orientation, which let's see how that plays into your message.
How could you not understand why it was so important for him to say that? It's very, very obvious.
What a psychopath.
Probably.
Here's what I have to say to all of you. You're being emotionally manipulated. Imagine that you and I are married, and every time you draw a boundary with me, I smother our kid with a pillow.
Oh, wait. We have I have some new information that really helps with this. I'm gonna. Ooh, this is so good. Ooh, this is good. This is good. Yes. Okay, good, 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 good. I'm so glad I found this. I'm so glad I found this because this is going to help me tackle the nonsense that he's saying. All right, so let's listen to this part and let's see what he has to say. I have something so good for you guys. Okay, so listen to this next part.
And say something manipulated. Imagine that you and I are married, and every time you draw a boundary with me, I smother our kid with a pillow and say something like, "Look at what you're making me do." I would be emotionally manipulating you.
I really hope this guy knows that that's what Israel's doing since the beginning. We're sorry they made us kill their kids. We're sorry they made us bomb the hospital.
That is
All right, so the difference is that Israel is actually, when the Israel says that when we attack Hamas, they make it so that their civilians die, they're actually telling the truth. Okay, but it's not true from the other side. So what the therapist is saying, what he's saying is that when Hamas attacks Israel and kills civilians, they're saying, sorry, they made us do it. And that is insane. This guy who's criticizing the therapist, does he not admit, let's say, for example, fine, Israel is doing that. Israel is just killing civilians and they're acting like they're lying about Hamas forcing their hand, okay? Which they are not. I will show you the proof. But why does he not acknowledge that Hamas is doing the same thing, at least the same thing? Okay? Does he not see when Hamas goes to Israel and kills civilians and say, like, well, this is what happens when you occupy us? Do you buy that excuse? Do you buy that excuse? Do you really support, like, because you're not at least accepting that he's saying the right thing when it comes to describing Hamas's behavior? So he says Israel does this, but he's also denying that Hamas does this. So are you saying that Hamas is justified when they go to Israel and killing civilians? Because if you are not saying that they're justified, then what the therapist is saying is true. But when civilians on the Israeli is dying, the excuse of Hamas that our hands were forced is not valid. You don't need to go kill civilians in Israel because you're occupied. First of all, you're not occupied, right? You're not occupied. You're living in Gaza. Israel left Gaza so that you guys could have your own area where you're operating, so that you could have your independence, and maybe hopefully one day you will have better relationship with Israel. That was hope. As soon as Israel stopped occupying Gaza, you declared war with Israel, and Israel was forced to defend itself. So they needed to block the border that they shared with you. So Israel did not occupy you. In fact, did not occupy you. In fact, the problem was that they stopped occupying you. All of these problems started when they stopped occupying you. The request to Israel was stop occupying Gaza. So they stopped occupying Gaza, and all the problems started from then. So so when Hamas attacks Israel, their hands were not forced. In fact, they were given what they wanted, and you still came and killed innocent civilians. So when Hamas and their supporters says our hands were forced, like that abusive boyfriend or abusive girlfriend or whatever, right? That excuse, just like the abusive boyfriend, is not valid. But when Israel says, well, we're defending ourselves and their innocent civilians are dying, and they're forcing us to do such a thing, that is an excuse that is correct, that is justified. The fact that Hamas uses human shields is been proven beyond reasonable doubt, and they brag about it. So when Israel says that, like, hey, listen, we're just trying to defend ourselves, we're trying to attack Hamas, they're using their civilians as human shields, that is not like the abusive boyfriend or girlfriend analogy that the therapist said. So the therapist is giving you like, for example, let's say I'm an abusive husband or boyfriend and I'm hitting my wife or girlfriend, and I'm like, you forced my hand. We all accept that this is an abusive boyfriend, that he didn't, when he says I was forced to hit you, that's a lie. He didn't need to hit you. We all understand that. That's actually more like Hamas, not like Israel. And an analogy, when Israel does military operations and innocent civilians die on the Palestinian side, that would be more, the analogy that would fit that better would be as if you came and killed my child. I have 4 children and you killed one of them. And then you promise that you're going to come and kill the rest of the 3. You promised that. And one of my children is dead. And now I'm like, okay, enough is enough. I need to come and take you out because you're going to come for the rest of my children. And when I come and try to take you out, I see that you're holding your own child in your arm. And I'm trying to shoot you without hitting your child. But at some point, I don't know if I'm going to hit your child or not, but I'm going to take the shot anyways, because you said that you're going to come kill my other children. And then if I shoot in order to hit you, but it kills you and kills your child as well, I am not responsible for killing your child. You killed your child. I did not kill your child. You killed your own child. You were holding your child so that I don't kill you. You were using your own child as a shield. And I was just trying to defend myself and my children. I did not kill your child. You killed your child. That would be the analogy that would better explain what Israel is doing. So the analogy of the therapist explains what Hamas is doing, but he's acting like that's what Israel is doing. That's not what Israel is doing. And again, just to make it clear that I'm not making this stuff up, here, this just came out. This is just recently came out. Let me actually bring this here so you guys can see it better. Let me close this. What the hell is that? So Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar believes Palestinians' deaths are necessary sacrifice. Leaked message. This is June 11th. So this is quite recent. So I don't know why we're seeing a little dog here under this news, but ignore that. But this is Yahya Sinwar, and there's now leaked audio messages that he actually has said all of the things that we told you so far has been true. And now we are having their own admissions. Palestinian deaths are necessary sacrifice. But also there's other. Here's actually another. Look at this one. Wall Street Journal reporting on the same thing. Gaza's chief brutal calculation. Yahya Sinwar says civilian bloodshed will help Hamas. So Yahya Sinwar's correspondence with compatriots and mediators shows he is confident that Hamas can outlast Israel. And he's saying that the bloodshed, the killing of Palestinians in that audio message, the leaked audio message, he said in there that it's actually helping us. So he's using Palestinian deaths. We have been saying this for years now, that they want Palestinians to die, and now their audio message confirms it. Here's another report of the same news. Okay. Hamas's Sinwar said to laud high civilian death toll in Gaza as necessary sacrifice. So the high death toll in Gaza, he's seeing that as something good to celebrate. You see, look, he's saying Palestinian deaths are helping increase pressure on Israel. Right? So you see, when he says Israel is doing the same thing, so when he says Israel is acting like Hamas is forcing them to kill civilians, no, Israel is right. Israel is correct. When Israel is claiming that, they're correct.
In Gaza,
Yeah, so listen to this again.
I would be emotionally manipulating you.
I really hope this guy knows that that's what Israel's doing since the beginning. We're sorry they made us kill their kids. We're sorry they made us bomb the hospital.
That is
Yeah, look, they did. They did. They did. When they all this time, when they say we're sorry, they made us do it. They were correct. They have always been correct about that.
Gaza right now, and most people agree with that because it's
No, that is actually statistically and factually incorrect. Most people do not agree with that.
obvious.
Well, most people, I'm sorry, but I mean, you're in the US, he's in the US. I don't know what statistic you're talking about, but based on what I'm saying, most people do agree with that, at least. Yeah. I mean, I don't have statistics for the world, but majority in USA, Israel has valid reasons for fighting. Fewer say the same about Hamas. So this is based on pure research. So no, the guy is correct. At least if he's talking about his own country, he's correct. Look. So he's right, you're wrong. Again. Look how confidently he says that as well. Again, you know why he thinks that? Because he lives on TikTok. He's like, oh no, like he gets his stats based on what people are saying on TikTok. That's why he's so confident that the therapist is wrong. Like, look how confidently he says it.
We're sorry they made us bomb the hospital.
That is exactly what's happening in Gaza right now, and most people agree with that because it's
No, that is actually statistically and factually incorrect. Most people do not agree with that.
Based on where's your stats? Are you going to tell us where you're saying it so confidently? What are you based? How embarrassing is it for you to be this confident and be so wrong at the same time? And let me actually see this video of his got 378,000 likes. Okay, not views, likes. So let me see how many views is that. Where is he? I can't see how many views is that. Oh, 2 million views. 2 million views. Imagine being so wrong and so many people. Guys, this is why we need help. This is why you need to like the stream, because the misinformation is spreading so much faster than the correction. You need to like the stream so that more people actually see the correction rather than this misinformation. And also, guys, if you're watching this on Twitter, come on YouTube, an Atheist Republic YouTube channel, because I see 300 people are watching this on Twitter. So please come over to YouTube and watch this over there, or subscribe to Atheist Republic on YouTube, so our YouTube channel grows.
Obvious. And if it's not obvious to you,
But it's not obvious to anyone. The only thing that's obvious is that the only thing.
Oh, wow. You're actually making fun of the way he's talking as well. Very classy. Very classy. Look at that.
I agree with that.
it's obvious. And if it's not obvious to you,
But it's not obvious to anyone. The only thing that's obvious is that the only thing that.
Wow. Is he making fun of him being gay by making fun of the way he's speaking? Very classy. Very classy. That actually shows us that actually is very telling. Amazing.
That's emotionally manipulative is you. For some reason, I'm still yet to see the reason of you mentioning why you're an openly gay American man, but therapist was not a part of that introduction. For some reason, your sexual orientation was far more important and more necessary to mention than your profession.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad he mentioned that he's gay. Well, he doesn't need to mention his profession because people who follow him know his profession. But it was more important to mention his orientation so that the rest of us liberals are informed that not all gay people are anti-Israeli.
you either have another agenda you're pushing, or you've been emotionally manipulated. If you're being emotionally manipulated, you should talk to somebody about that. Ideally, that person is not some woke terrorist apologist therapist.
But wait, Mr. Openly Gay American Man, you forgot to mention that this terrorist apologist woke therapist is also unfortunately straight. To even end your sentence by saying a terrorist apologist therapist, you are further adding to the gaslighting that if somebody's pro-Palestinian, that must mean they support terrorists. And not only
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. You're just putting words in his mouth. But if you are supporting, all these people who are anti-Israel and you're not supporting Israel's right to defend itself, then you are pro-terrorist. And he would be right about that. He didn't say anywhere that if you're pro-Palestinian, you're pro-terrorist. That's a straw man. You're just putting words in his mouth.
does that comment come off as extremely racist and bigoted.
Oh, racist. Oh, yeah. The amazing. The classic, just label anybody who disagree with as racist. You know, just the only thing wokey people know how to do consistently is just to lay people as either homophobe or racist as soon as you start disagreeing with them. Amazing.
But in my opinion, that's very unprofessional for a therapist. Still waiting as to why it was crucial for you to mention that you're openly gay, but I'm not hearing anything.
And if you want to see more content from a mental
you're
health
an idiot.
professional who has the emotional skills to look at today's events with a little bit of clarity, you should toss me a follow.
But you don't see with clarity because you've proven to us that you.
Yeah, guys, please follow this guy on Twitter. We need more. We need to support people who are supporting Israel. Again, unlike this guy who did not mention this account's name and who this man is, or link to his account, I will provide you with the link. Again, his name is Joe Nucci, so JoeNucci, and his Twitter, Instagram account is Joe Nucci Therapy. Again, link in the. You can see the account ID and the link to his Instagram account on the screen. All right, let's continue.
First of all, extremely racist and very, very biased towards this, and you're insinuating.
Wow, very racist. We're racist. He didn't say anything that is racist. He just disagreed with your position, and that would make him racist. Even if he's wrong, you have no idea why he came to the conclusion that he did, but you're just going to assume that it's because of his racism. What race exactly?
Anybody who has a different opinion from you, such as a pro-Palestinian, is
Wow, look at the projection. He's calling somebody a racist because he has a different opinion with him, and he's projecting to him that, and look at the accusation that he's making.
Today's events with a little bit of clarity, you should toss me a follow.
But you don't see with clarity because you've proven to us that you, first of all, extremely racist and very, very biased towards this, and you're insinuating that anybody who has a different opinion from you, such as a pro-Palestinian, is incapable of having the emotional ability or skills to navigate through this very complex world. Because if anything, you've just proven
He didn't say that. You're making stuff
that
up.
you're someone who is racist and immensely biased and incapable of keeping his opinion to himself, which is very unprofessional as a therapist.
And if there's a little part of you that feels like they don't have the skills to cope with today's events, you're not alone. We got this.
Unfortunately, I can guarantee you if you follow this guy and you go to him for therapy, you are very alone. Simply because this therapist has breached the fact that he should not be taking a biased approach to anything and should listen to his patient with unbiased ears, or unbiased gay ears, because apparently that matters. So the only thing that this therapist has clarified for all of us is that in the case that he has a pro-Palestinian patient, he would be incapable of keeping an unbiased opinion, which is primarily the job of what a therapist is supposed to do. And I assume if a pro-Palestinian goes to him, he will shit on them. And I still don't understand why it was important or necessary to mention that you're an openly gay man, unless, of course, it was like emotional manipulation.
You don't understand it because you're an idiot. I already clarified why he needed to say that, and I'm thankful for him for saying that. Thank you so much, sir, for saying that you're openly gay. And also, no, even if he's wrong, which he's not, he's completely correct about everything he said. A therapist is completely capable of making sure that they treat their patients equally, even if they disagree with them. You didn't demonstrate why he wouldn't be able to do that. You're just making stuff up with no evidence because you hate the guy. You have no rational arguments against him, and you're just trying to crap on him without actually providing any logical arguments for him. But that gives us an opportunity for us to advertise him. And people in the live chat pointed out to me that he also has a YouTube channel. I did not know that. Thank you for clarifying, telling me that. So that I put a link to his YouTube channel as well. Again, his name is Joe Nucci, and he has a YouTube channel as well. And if you're looking for a therapist that is sane and not, supporting Israel, if you want to go to his YouTube channel and benefit from it, again, actually, let me put his name on the channel as well. If you search for his name on YouTube, it will show up. So go support him. Go support his channel. You know what? I'm going to actually subscribe to him with the Atheist Republic YouTube channel as well. Guys, his YouTube needs a lot of help because he already has 190K subscribers on Instagram, but his YouTube is only 1,000 subscribers. So go support him there because the subscribers matter now, given that he has low subscribers. We got a lot of super chats, so I'm going to quickly go over the super chats before I go to the next video. Angry Keyboard Warrior saying, did you see there was a protest in front of the White House with signs literally saying, oh my, so I can't even say what you're saying on YouTube. I would get nuked if I say that. But FAGS for Hamas. Okay, so no, I did not say that. I did not see that. Okay, so maybe I will look for it. But thank you so much for the super chat. So let me go through these really quickly. JS is saying, I appreciate being educated. Well, thank you so much for appreciating that. And thank you so much for supporting us with the super chat. JS is saying, Iran is not exclusively Persian. Exactly true. That is, Iran is only 50% Persian. Thank you for mentioning that. Another super chat from JS saying, the history of the Jewish people is different. Of course, the history of every group of people is different from any other group of people. That is true. And JS is saying, we have been a nation among nations for centuries. Yep, so that's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, that's true about some other nations as well, but that's definitely true about Jewish people and them as a nation. And then JS with another super chat saying, Israel is one state for the Jewish people. Well, yeah, it is for the Jewish people, but it's the only state in the world for Jewish people, but it's not just that. Okay, Israel is a Jewish state, a state for Jewish people, and we celebrate Israel being a state for Jewish people all around the world if they choose so. However, Israel, and again, when I say Israel is more than that, I'm not dismissing that. Israel is a state for Jewish people if they choose so all around the world, but Israel is also a state for every other Israeli that is not Jewish. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So these are not contradictory. If Israel is also a state for its non-Jewish citizens, that does not take away from Israel being a state for Jewish people if they choose so all around the world. These two things are not contradictory. When I say this, I'm celebrating Israel, that it's a state for Jewish people all around the world, but it's also a state for every other citizen that it has that is not Jewish. Okay, and JS is saying, this does not negate the right of existing minorities to thrive in the Jewish state. Well, no, it does not negate that, but we should not call it a Jewish state. Just like we should not call Iran, if it one day becomes a secular democracy, I would not want to call Iran a Persian state. Okay? Israel can still be a state for the Jews without being a Jewish state, because being a Jewish state implies that it's a state for Jews and only Jews. Israel can be a state for Jews, but also every other citizen. So you don't need the Jewish identity to maintain all of these values that you just mentioned. You could maintain an Israeli identity without having a Jewish identity. A Jewish identity should be for individuals, not for the entirety of a state. That's my opinion. JS is saying, sorry for the confusion. I am new to Super Chats. Best to you. Well, best to you as well. We might have some slight disagreements, but it's good to have these discussions. And thank you so much for the support. Right. Let's go through one more video. Let me remove this one, remove this one, remove this one, remove this one. And let's go through this.
No to ceasefire.
Okay, so this is a very short one, so we could get through this really fast. So wait, let me actually read what this one is about. So I did the therapist one. So Dolly gave me the description, gay American mocking Zionists. Okay, so that's the description for this video. So let's see what he has to say.
For anyone who's like, no to ceasefire, like, you do realize there's like now visual digital evidence and footprint of you being on the wrong side of history, and your kids are going to see this. Like, your kids are literally one day going to see this and be like, oh wow, my dad was like a racist supremacist asshole. Can you imagine the daddy issues you're giving your future kids? Those kids are going to be sluts.
Wait, what? What? I don't even know how to respond to this. There's no argument made here. If I do not support a ceasefire, I am a racist supremacist, and my children are going to see that, and I would be embarrassed about that. I mean, if my kids are that stupid, I would be embarrassed not because I was supporting Israel and I was against the ceasefire. I would be more embarrassed about how I managed to raise such idiots. That's what I would be embarrassed about. I would have more issues regards to how did my kids turn out such morons, rather than being worried about being a racist supremacist, because I wouldn't be a racist supremacist. I mean, I don't even know how to respond to this, because there's no arguments being made here. I am against a ceasefire because I value Palestinian lives. And I know a lot of these people don't understand this, how that, because they think if you're not against ceasefire, you are for the fact that Palestinians are dying in Gaza. But that's because they don't understand what's happening. If the ceasefire happens right now, more Palestinians will die. Okay, so I am in favor of protecting Israelis and Palestinians. Okay, if you have a ceasefire too early, more Israelis and more Palestinians will die. So you think like 30,000, 40,000 Palestinians dying, that's a high number. The number would be higher if Hamas manages to regain control again over Gaza. You should be against the ceasefire if you care about Palestinians, because you should be fearful about this whole thing happening all over again. Because if Israel doesn't finish the job in removing Hamas from power in Gaza, then Hamas, especially the Rafah part, which is connected to Egypt, which where they get all their ammunition and all their money and all their support from, that's the main part. In fact, if you want to criticize Israel, you should be criticizing for why they only started from the north instead of starting from the north and south at the same time. Because the south part is the key part that they should be finishing the job in. That's the area which connects Hamas with the rest of the world, which connects Hamas to Egypt and to Qatar and to the Islamic Republic of Iran. That should have been the priority, right? So you should want them to finish the job there, because you should want, for the sake of Palestinians, for Israel to get rid of Hamas in Gaza. Because if Hamas manages to regain control over Gaza, they have promised to do October 7th again, and Israel will have to do all of this thing over and over again at a future date. And you're going to have another 30,000, another 40,000 casualty. Well, not all of it is casualty. Half of it is civilian. So let's say, 20,000 civilian casualties, right? That would be the tragedy if you have to do this all over again. You have to understand that the main part of the attack that costs civilian casualties is the initial phase, which requires heavy bombardments, heavy aerial bombardments. So with that out of the way, you need to make sure that Israel finishes the job, so that initial phase, when Gaza is rebuilt and Hamas is back in power, Israel will have to come and do this all over again. Do you want this to happen all over again? How much do you have to hate Palestinians for you to want this to happen all over again? So now that nobody else is willing to pay the price, who else is there? The Palestinians should be begging Israel to stay in Gaza. The Palestinians, if they knew what they were good for them, they should be begging Israel to stay in Gaza and not leave, even with this high civilian casualties. They should be thanking Israel to be helping them when it comes to getting rid of Hamas. Like, please don't leave. Please finish the job. Please make sure that this does not have to happen all over again. Please make sure you stay and get rid of these a-holes so that they don't regain control over. Because once you don't understand that if Israel leaves right now, because they need to rebuild Gaza, there are going to be so many things coming through Egypt back to Gaza. There's going to be money coming in. There's going to be cement coming in. They're going to be rebuilding the tunnels. There's going to be a lot of missiles being able to be smuggled in. They're going to be everything they need to be able to rebuild their army is going to be coming in. If Israel can't control that, October 7th will be happening again. And all of this war will be happening again. You should be doing everything to avoid that. So being pro ceasefire means bring pro more war. Again, I know in your mind that you don't understand that, because you think ceasefire means ending war. Not always. Ceasefire here in this case, for example, ceasefire means more war. And if you are too stupid to understand that, Let me explain to you. Just like when the Allies attacked Nazi Germany, that war meant less war, right? Because if they didn't attack, the whole world would be going into war for a longer period of time, right? In the same way, this war means less war. Sometimes you need to support war for the sake of having less war. This is a war that if you end it too early, you are going to end up having more war, and more civilians will die. I know this is not, it's not as complicated as you think. Sometimes you have to destroy evil, and there's going to be a heavy cost to it. But again, the cost of not doing it is going to be a lot more. Anyways, that was the last video. Let me see. We got 2 more super chats. Thank you so much, guys. We've got so many super chats today. HD Drake is saying Israel is a state for Jews and friends. Thanks, Armin, for wading through all this nonsense for us. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Well, actually, let me actually make a note. Let me see. Israel, yeah, Israel is a state for Jews. Okay? We could always say that, for Jews and friends. This is beautiful. I like the way you phrase it, for Jews and friends. Okay? But for Jews, I like it that saying Israel is a state for Jews. I like that more than saying Israel is a Jewish state. Because saying Israel is a state for Jews does not mean that Israel is not a state for non-Jews. Because Israel could be a state for Jews and other people. But the for Jews part is a necessary part to have included. Okay? Because of all the threats that Jewish people face all around the world. But saying it's a Jewish state, saying Israel is a Jewish state, you might try to pretend that that is not exclusionary, that is not suggest that it's a state for Jews and not other people, but it does. So instead of saying Israel is a Jewish state, say Israel is a state for Jews, because for Jews also could mean also for other people. But if you say Israel is a Jewish state, it does suggest that it's only for Jews. And you might say it doesn't suggest that, but it does. It does. So I like your framing as well. Your framing much more. Israel is a state for Jews and friends. Yeah, for Jews and every other citizen. For Jews, so the Jew part means for Jews who are already citizens and for Jews who are not yet citizens of Israel, but could choose to be citizens of Israel, right? So Israel is for a state for Jews and all her other citizens. But Jews are both her citizens and Jews who are not her citizens. The other citizens are only the people who are already citizens. That's how it works. And that's how it should work. That's how it should continue to work. You don't need to be a state for non-Jewish people who are not yet citizens because they don't have the level of threat against them. Like if you're an Arab, you already have 22 other Arab countries, all right? If you are any other ethnicity, and also Arabs don't face this much of a hate against them all around the world, like Jewish people face, right? But let's say if there's no other race, there's no other ethnicity that faces this much of threat against them. But even if there are, they already have countries where they're the majority, so they don't need a state. There's only one state that provides a safe place for Jewish people all around the world, and it should always remain that way because how deep-rooted anti-Jewish hatred is around the world. But again, you don't need to have a Jewish identity to be able to have that utility. Thank you so much, Bar, for the super chat. 6 shekels. We got our shekels today. Bar is saying equal rights is in Israel. What is it? IL? Okay, I think that's a flag. Okay, in Israel's Declaration of Independence. Yes, but Declaration of Independence is not as strong as a constitution. I hope one day Israel will have a constitution, and that will also be written in its constitution. All right, guys. That was a good stream. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the super chats. You guys were very supportive today. And thank you for liking the stream, because your likes make the channel grow. And also, shame on you if you did not like the stream. What's wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? Like the stream. Like I spoke for more than an hour here, and you can't spend 1 second liking the stream. Why? Here's the thing. If you're not liking the stream, I just want you to just wonder, just think about it. Like, why am I not doing that? It only takes me a second, but I'm not doing it. But why is that? What's wrong with me? Is it like something broken in my mind? I could support this channel by just liking the stream, and I'm not doing that. That's very interesting. I just learned something about myself today. I just learned that I'm not a very good person. All right, just like the stream. And also, if you want to support more, make sure you leave a comment after the show is over. Thank you guys for liking the stream. People are saying they liked it. And also subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification. Share this channel, Atheist Republic, to as many people as you can. Share it with your friends and your enemies. And yeah, that's all. That's all you need to do. Okay? Thank you so much. And until next stream, bye. Mwah.